Hey guys, welcome back to Red Devil TV. Man United 1, Young Boys 1. What did we expect from this game? I think the big talking point was obviously that the young players were going to come in. Elanga, Ahmad, possibly, and he did start the game. Of course, the other players, more experienced ones who haven't had much game time, Van der Beek, Lingard. But I can tell you that no one would have guessed that team. Matic at centre-back. Lingard, look, there was a discussion that Lingard might be playing in that deeper role, but it was actually Mata. I did think as soon as they came out, no way Lingard plays in that deeper position. Maybe, it would have made sense because, he's quite energetic and he can retain the ball. But in this game, it was like, he was experimenting, right? And playing Mata in that deeper role next to Van der Beek, I thought it was a bit strange because, at the end of the day, Mata was poor. He kept losing the ball. He done some decent passes, but he kept losing the ball. I would have loved to see the stats on how many times he lost the ball and how many times he got dispossessed, because he got absolutely dispossessed a ridiculous amount of times in that game. Matic done decently well in the centre-back position, but a number of times Bailly had to help him out there every time he lost the ball, or there was like 2 or 3 times where Matic would pass and went straight to the Young Boys player. Bailly was great for me. The way he put his body on the line, he recovered very well, he's quick, vital blocks. If it wasn't for Bailly there a couple of times, we would have been in a more dangerous position. And look, this game, if we look at it, look, Young Boys had a couple of opportunities, but in the first half we had a few as well. Mata should have buried a chance. Ahmad had an opportunity where he decided to pass to Lingard. People blamed Lingard for that situation, but he didn't really expect it. And Ahmad should have shot, but he kind of, he didn't control the ball well when he done that little fake shot at the end. So, Elanga as well. Elanga had another opportunity to score as well. We could have been 3-0 up in that first half. But the Elanga chance came in the second half. So yeah, but then Young Boys again, they had a couple of chances where, come on, it could have been 3-3, So at the end of the day, I think it was a good result. But Young Boys did definitely put a bit more pressure on us in the second half. It was shaky, very shaky, but I'm not going to take too much from the game. I think the point of this game was to get those young players on, to get game time for those players that haven't been playing. And I'm not going to lie, a couple of players didn't really shine bright, and they didn't help themselves in this game. I think Lingard, he was a ghost in there, and Lingard didn't really get involved. He lost the ball a couple of times. He wasn't really in the game. Matic, I think Matic is still a player who can be used. Again, he was using the centre-back position. He did have some control. You can see the communication between him and Bailly at times. Van der Beek, it's his fault for the goal, but I think Wan-Bissaka was also at fault for the goal as well. The way he doesn't even try to get the ball back. He kind of just stops. And we see that a few times this season where he almost just gives up. And Wan-Bissaka, if I had to be completely honest, I think he's going to struggle to get back in this team. Hopefully he's okay because he had to come off on a stretcher. There was one part in the game where he seemed to injure himself as well when he got hit in the face. So we'll see what happens with Wan-Bissaka. But I think Deleu's going to keep his space in the team. It's going to be tough for Wan-Bissaka. You can see his attacking presence. It's funny because when Deleu wasn't playing, we talked about Wan-Bissaka and how we already know he doesn't offer that attacking threat. But in this game, you see even more when Deleu has already played 2 games where he's been almost man of the match in both games. So it's going to be tough for him. I think Luke Shaw played well in the first half. Every player in the second half kind of shut down. They were kind of quiet. Luke Shaw, great assist. I think him and Telles is a 50-50. I think Telles still might start that game against Norwich on Saturday. But Luke Shaw might reclaim his spot. Greenwood, another great goal. Greenwood, look, I think the problem is a lot of these players, I don't know if Rannick is going to start any of these players. I think Greenwood could start, but we saw in the game on against Palace, he brought him on as a number 10, and he played obviously as a striker with Elanga against Young Boys. So what's going to happen? I think possibly what's going to happen is that Greenwood might start with Ronaldo against Norwich, but then again, Rashford has just rested. He's going to drop Rashford. I think what Rashford offers is what many others can't offer, and it's that pace up front. It's the way, those long balls are always going to go mostly to Rashford. Maybe sometimes to Ronaldo, but mostly Rashford. And look, I would love to see Greenwood and Ronaldo start up front. You know what I mean? I think there are times where Greenwood can be a bit too selfish, but I think with 2 up front, they're 2 strikers, and I think that might help Ronaldo score more goals. It might help Greenwood score more goals because Ronaldo can definitely create, and so can Greenwood. So, look, I'm not going to take too much from this game at all. You know what I mean? For me, it's Premier League, Norwich. This game was just about getting some players the chances to play. You know what I mean? So, Elanga, I don't think he played too well either. I think there were a couple of times where he should have scored. He wasn't really. The thing is, a lot of players weren't really in the game. I feel like a lot of the younger players weren't really in the game. I think Ahmad, he got bodied a lot, man. Ahmad, like, you can tell, like, he's gonna struggle in the Premier League if he gets into the main team, because once he gets into the first team, he's gonna have to work on his physicality. I know he's quite short. He's quite slim, but he's gonna have to work on it, because every time he was getting bodied by, you know, there was the young boy player where he kept just bodying him, and he kept dropping. And again, Ahmad, it doesn't look like someone who's particularly fast as well. So he's got good dribbling. He's got a good shot on him. He definitely done one ball over the top as well. I forgot who it was to. It might have been Greenwood, and it was a fantastic ball over the top. So, or it might have been Elanga. So, yeah, I think Elanga as well. I think a lot of these players have a lot to work on. I think a couple of them might go on loan in January. I mean, clearly Iranik was impressed by Elanga in the last training session for Crystal Palace. So we have to see what happens there. But if I had to be completely honest, I think a couple of players won't really have a shining light on them for the Norwich game. When Van de Beek was playing in the deeper role, I was actually quite excited, because in my preview for the game, I thought he would have played in the number 10 position, because he brought him on against Crystal Palace in the number 10 position. And it's a bit annoying, because I want to see Van de Beek in that position, but I figured out, guys, look, I know this is completely different from what I've said in my other videos, but I think Van de Beek and Fred is not going to work in this system. Reason why: Fred in this position has been used as more as a number 8. You know, you've got basically two number 10s, and then behind them, you obviously got the deeper role, which is Scott McTominay and Fred. McTominay plays a bit of that deeper role. He does go up, but he stays more in that deeper role to cover, and he's a proper DM there. Now, Fred, yeah, he's playing as a DM in that position, but he does go up and down. He plays as a box-to-box in that position in the 4-2-2 formation. And the problem with Van de Beek is, are you going to leave Fred in the DM position? Because surely you're not going to leave Van de Beek. I think Van de Beek definitely has great tackle, so does Fred. That's why I think what makes them a good combination. But the thing is, Scott also has decent tackles as well. And the problem is with Van de Beek and Fred, if you play them both together, both of them are quite attacking minded. Fred, the reason Fred has played dreadfully the last year, apart from the last couple of games, is because he's been playing in a position that's not him. He doesn't play in that position. And when he used to play for Shakhtar, he was a box-to-box midfielder, and he used to, you know, attack and get outside the box and shoot and play these quick passes to players. And that's why you see Fred shine, because in this system, you're going to see this link-up play in the middle with, you know, a lot of central play with Fred and Ronaldo and Sancho and Bruno. And the problem is, if you play him in that deep position, you already know what's going to happen. We've seen it loads of times. He's going to get bodied. He's not trustworthy when it comes to passing out from the back, Fred. He can do some stupid passes. And again, Van de Beek, someone we saw yesterday, he made a mistake, but, you know, it happens. I still think he was one of the better players, even though he made the mistake. But then again, look, I think it might not work. Both of these players are very attacking minded. I think we could get caught out. You know, a lot of these players can be dragged wide and then exposed down the middle. Either of them. I think Fred, we've seen it loads of times. If Van de Beek is a more attacking player in the deeper role, he can get dragged out, and then Fred is left by himself. And of course, you have the centre backs, but, you know, against a better team like a City or a Liverpool, they can expose it. So we have to see what happens, guys. But Norwich game, I'm excited for. I'll do a preview for it tomorrow. Please let me know what you guys thought of the game. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.